To defeat an enemy, you must know them. Not just their battle tactics, but their history, philosophy, art. Welcome to the Chiss Ascendancy podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to
The Chiss Ascendancy.
Where's in Wiz in the Wing?
Do you know what I was referencing?
Nope.
Ace Ventura, when nature calls, when he's like running it back and he's like, oh.
Oh. Anyways.
And that explains the abrasion on your palm.
Let me. We're in episode 112, and we are in part 2 of our read through of Dark Force Rising, and so we are nearing the halfway
Boy, is
point
that
of
Dark Force Rising. You
It's
know?
rising. It is.
It's rising.
It's rising. We are as next week we'll be halfway through the series. If you think about it.
That's pretty crazy.
So we're a third of the way through this book already, and I think this is in a strange way. Thrawn really hasn't even been fully revealed to the New Republic yet, but just how in charge he is in this issue makes me feel. This is the most amount of despair I felt for the New
Would you
Republic
say
so far.
he's in charge and large?
I don't know if I'd say that, but I would say he's large and in charge.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Distinction noted.
Distinction noted, yeah. If you are following along with us, obviously you'll know that's a reference to the very last page of the book. And the artwork, as promised. This is actually one of the really, really classic looks, and this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is the cover art for the whole shebang.
Can you humor me for a second?
Sure.
You said this is a classic look, and in my mind I heard classic.
Classic look.
Yeah.
So, things are very much moving along,
Things were spicing up.
and right there on page 1, we've got a sea of A-Wings on the move.
Yes.
And I was going to say, in the notes, I put that my child self would love seeing all those A-Wings because that's my favorite.
You did love the A-Wings. Was that due to the game that we never even beat the first level of because we weren't allowed to play video games and weren't very good at video games as a result? Where you start as the, you're in the Naboo fighter on Naboo and we just couldn't stop crashing. Do you remember that game?
Yes.
I don't even remember what game that was, but I remember being terrible at it.
I just remember whenever you would make changes in the menu, it would go, doo-la-la-la-la, doo-la-la-la-la. Yeah, you're in like the fields of Naboo, and you keep crashing. That's not the reason I don't like the A-Wing. Why would that be the reason if we never got anywhere else besides the...
Because I remember there was like previews, and that's how I kind of learned the difference of the ships with the A-Wing,
really?
the B-Wing, the Y-Wing.
I think I like the A-Wing best
X-Wing
because...
is self-explanatory.
Right.
Y-Wing, that's there, but A-Wing, B-Wing, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I like A-Wing the best because it's the fastest. And so learning it was the fastest early on made a big, big difference for me. What do you
Do you think that's still the case? Because I think they reclassified A-Wings as like light bombers.
The A-Wing is still the fastest,
Okay.
I would think.
Okay.
Let's use our dad's favorite
God
friend.
almighty.
Here we go.
Again with this?
Which is the fastest, what would you say, personal ship?
I'd say Republic fighter in Star Wars. I guess they technically had him.
If I just put fastest in the rebellion, it's going to go Millennium Falcon.
Well, I think you could say Republic. Because the A-Wings were in the Republic, were they not?
What do you mean?
Like they existed as part of like the Republic's
Oh, you're talking about
repertoire.
like the Republic.
Yep, that's the one.
No, I don't think so.
So named.
X-Wing, Y-Wing, B-Wing. What else? Those are the main three, yeah?
Well, there's the X-Wing, the B-Wing, the Y-Wing,
That's what I said.
and the A-Wing.
A-Wing.
That's 4.
I would ask it a question hoping it answers A-Wing and not even give it that option. Okay. I'm asking chat, which is the fastest personal ship in the rebellion between the X-Wing, Y-Wing, B-Wing, and A-Wing? It says, among the Rebel starfighters you listed, the A-Wing is the fastest by a wide margin.
It says you? Saying you listed it?
Yeah. Because I gave it 4 options.
Oh, okay. I thought they were saying you said it was the fastest by a wide margin, and I was that's not a very good answer.
Among the starfighters that I listed, the A-Wing is the fastest. It says the A-Wing, 1,300 kilometers an hour. X-Wing is just over 1,000 kilometers an hour. B-Wing is 950 kilometers an hour. And the Y-Wing is 1,000.
Okay, well, if you want to give it to me in freaking communist speak.
Let's see.
How many eagles per freedom is that?
I'm American.
I know it's a 3 to 5 ratio
How many
as far as
is that?
kilometers per hour to miles per hour.
You communist. 808 miles an hour for the A-Wing, 653 for the X-Wing, 590 for the B-Wing, and 621 for the Y-Wing.
Am I, like, being snobby and being like, that's not that fast?
No, I actually kind of agree that it seems... Well, I guess, 1,000 miles an hour is pretty fast.
I'm pretty sure that we have planes that fly faster than that now.
Think so?
Yeah, I think so. Ask it. Rank them.
How fast is a... What is it, F-16 or something?
I don't know.
Holy shizzle. 1,500 miles an hour, F-16, top speed.
Yeah,
That's
especially...
Mach 2.
Well... The fastest airplane in the world is the unmanned NASA X-43,
Well,
which reached.
that's
Well,
not-
it's still it flies.
That
Okay,
doesn't count.
it does count. Which reached a speed of Mach 9.6.
That business on Keito Namoya doesn't count. It's not manned.
Hold on. There is the record for manned aircraft. It's held by the American X-15, achieving Mach 6.72, which is
Sweet Lord.
4,500 miles an hour. That's plenty fast, points.
Pretty fast, if you ask me. Yeah, so I think the A-Wing
You're
was
going
my
to like
favorite growing up
northern
because of,
Canada from Mexico in like an hour.
yeah.
That's bonkers.
Yeah, pretty wild. How fast is the bullet train?
I think that they're like 300 miles an hour.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because look at this. 220 miles an hour. Yeah.
I think there's a new like hyper train that's 300 miles an hour.
It says
But
that
that's
A-Wing
relatively
is
new.
4 times as fast as a bullet train in atmosphere. There you go. So yeah, the A-Wing was my favorite because it was so fast, and I also had a toy of it. As I've gotten older, my favorite Rebellion ship is definitely the B-Wing, the Blade Wing. Specifically, I already really liked it, but Battlefront Renegade Squadron, which is the one that you got with the white Darth Vader PSP, was one of my favorites. And there's a map, I think it's Space Kashyyyk, where there's, for the longest time in Battlefront, you had your capital ship, their capital ship, and you could either fight in space or you could go to their
hangar.
ship and then
I
just
was
take out
all
the engines
about
and
the
all that kind of
in-person
stuff. Yeah, exactly.
attack. That's what I was all about.
So
Plays the Marine.
yeah, exactly.
Engineer doesn't know what he's doing.
So in Renegade Squadron, you could go to this middle ground. There's like a comet or an asteroid that had a hangar there, and it was neutral. And then whichever side got there first, you would take over, and then whatever the most elite version of that fleet's ship would spawn there. So the Rebellion, you had A-Wing, X-Wing, Y-Wing already in the hangar. If you take over the intermediate in there in the middle, a B-Wing would spawn. And then you get out there, and it does the cool thing where it opens up into the cross. And then it was very fast, had tracing missiles and stuff like that. And then if you were on the Imperial side, if you took over that middle ground, you would get a TIE Defender.
Checks out.
which is pretty sick. So
So anyway, moving past page 1, first graphic with the A-Wings.
I'm telling you, the first page is chock full. Go ahead.
You've got I can't read it from here.
Well, you can just have thoughts.
We get confirmation here that Borsk, Mr. No Good Failure, is confirmedly in league with Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yep.
To some extent.
So yeah, it's Borsk is playing the typical too big for his britches. Should have been a good guy, but he's kind of playing both sides. And we've talked about this before with Bothans, where they just do whatever's best for them. However, it's interesting because I've read the books more than once, and I've read the comics before and stuff, and I've listened to the audiobooks, but it's been a couple of years.
Yeah.
So I'm rehashing a lot of the story. So I've completely forgotten that Borsk Failure was in league with Thrawn. And
I don't remember if he's aware of the fact that he's in league with Thrawn, or if he thinks he's working with somebody else who's being controlled by Thrawn. Such details have yet to be revealed.
Right. I forgot that he was basically a double agent, but it's very much like a Bothan with Borsk's personality to think he's running the show and then he's not running the show. Mm-hmm. You know, very much like the Ben Mendelsohn. I think it's Ben Mendelsohn's character from Dark Knight Rises that hires Bane and goes, "I'm in charge," and Bane's like, "Do you feel in charge?"
I thought we were still talking Star Wars. Yes.
Yeah. Krennic.
Yes. And this is kind of a theme apparent in this issue, where we have Thrawn knowing that he's manipulating Borsk Failure, who thinks that he's manipulating everybody else.
Right.
And then we have Thrawn manipulating Joruus C'baoth, who doesn't make an appearance in this but is mentioned.
Yes.
Thrawn
he's the
basically
puppet
saying,
master.
He is powerful, but he's not a threat because he's so turbulent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, you're seeing how Thrawn is, even though he's not the clear, like by name, we know what he's about, like in Star Wars 4 through 6, the Emperor's the big bad,
Yeah.
and a lot about him. You saw his rise to power. You don't have that with Thrawn in the background with the New Republic right now. And so I think it's just becoming more clear than ever if, somebody's brand new to this story and is brand new to Thrawn in general, that this is what's going on. That he's the one.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
And it's interesting, too.
He is that guy. He's that guy, pal.
He's that guy, pal. We've seen it throughout the book so far that he is... when he does get angry, he has the moment that he can fly off the handle if need be, but he's ruling through.
But he does it so calmly.
Yeah, he's ruling, and he's the reason why. He's
Yeah.
not just like, I'm pissed, you're dead.
Yeah.
It's like, this is inefficient. We're going to be inefficient if this keeps going, so I'm going to make an example of this guy and just trim the fat and let everybody know. And it was crazy how he killed the underling and then told his supervisor, this is your fault that he's dead.
Yeah.
But Thrawn's just his reasoning, and it's like...
It's very abusive, Dad. Be like,
yes.
You're making me beat you.
You're making me
Why
hit
do you
you.
make me do this?
I don't want to do it. You're making me hit you. But the fact that he rules through... wisdom's not the right word, but like just his brain is what's behind the operation,
Yeah.
not just...
It reminds me of a meme I made several years ago where it was... when your parent says this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you, and it's that still from Revenge of the Sith where Anakin's lightsaber's out and it's looking at all the younglings.
But yeah, by the end of page 2, we see that he's manipulating Borsk Failure, he's manipulating Joruus C'baoth, and he's putting a squeeze on Talon Card because he has a feeling that Talon Card knows about if there are any dreadnoughts out there, any warships that are out there that are available. Card will be the one that has the dime on them.
Yeah.
And so, changing scenes, we're now moving forward to Leia, and of course we have Chewie and C-3PO in tow, and they are headed to meet up with that Nogri that they captured and then released the last time that she was attacked on Kashyyyk. Mm-hmm. He's the only Nogri that survived from, I want to say it's Unit 22, and so they are headed that way. And it's interesting how there's a moment here. Give me your thoughts on this, because I know I wrote this down, but then it stood out to you as well. She's in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon, and she says, "You see that moon, my dears? That's Endor, where the Rebel Alliance triumphed over the Empire and the New Republic began." And then Chewbacca says something to her. She responds, "Hang on, Isle." And then there's a solid black little section here where she blacks out. You were kind of mentioning this before, but it's something that really stood out to both of us, that she has not like a Force vision, but there's trauma from past dealings in that area.
Yeah, it seems like there's a it's not unlike to get two more Star Wars actors in the fold, the FX movie special Jumper,
Okay.
where Hayden Christensen has like the ability to teleport, and after he does, there's like kind of a scar in the background that can be interacted with, and that's how the people that hunt them, chase them, they follow those scars through the jump points.
Who's the guy hunting him in that?
Samuel L. Jackson. He's really getting to carry all of his Mace Windu fantasies because he's actively going for his head,
chasing down Hayden.
But we have kind of that idea that there are trauma areas in the Force. So like where they pass through the explosion of the Death Star, she's like, "I've never felt so much hate and malice," and you have to assume that it's the Force imprint of Emperor Palpatine in his moment of passing. But it's not something that you really see replicated or extended in any like modern Star Wars works that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I was really racking my brain trying to think of if there were other things like that.
There's like Force Nexes, where there are thin places, or there's some sort of nearness of the Force to describe it poorly. But it's just like it's stronger here for whatever reason.
Do you ever?
But I don't know if there's anywhere where it's like, oh, something bad happened here.
Yeah. Yeah, they talk about in the real world there are people out there that believe that like I was talking to somebody about this. I can't remember who it was. But like sounds can, the way that they're freaking constructed, or when you see the sound waves, whatever, it can hold trauma, or I don't remember, some kind of crazy stuff. But it's kind of the same concept of like that area in space is where the Death Star was destroyed. What's funny too is there would be pieces of crap floating in space for forever in that area.
Oh yeah. Well,
I know that there was an explosion, but there's got to be something somewhere.
It somehow got trapped in orbit, it would theoretically just be perpetually traveling on the vector that it had at time of explosion. But there probably wouldn't actually be that much debris except what had maybe gotten trapped in orbit. But you would think at that rate it's going.
But imagine
maybe it's just going just like perfectly parallel.
Yeah, something explodes and two pieces that have inertia going toward one another collide, then they would just cease to move and they just float there forever. But yeah, the fact that she was like, it's funny how she passes out and she's like, "Is this where the Death Star was?" It's like, you just said that. You just said this is where it was. But anyways, they're working.
I think she was like, "That's Endor," and then she's like, "Is that where it happened?"
Like that specific spot? Yeah, that makes sense. And then they are looking to try to meet up with Kabarak. And then changing scenery here.
Real quick before we... Well, I'm thinking about...
Go ahead.
It's not going to show up over that other photo. That's okay.
Got it. Changing scenes. We're on I believe the planet is called Illic. And we are with Luke, Han, and Lando. And we're still with that Tevye of the Force, Niles Ferrier. If you're reading the comic, if you've seen Fiddler on the Roof, it's kind of a deep cut. But Niles Ferrier looks just like Tevye, in my opinion.
That's funny.
It's funny because I wrote in the notes here, we got our first Dringear reference. Because he says, this is even crazier than that Nomad City thing you had. At least on Nikolon, we didn't have to worry about exotic plants eating us. And that just reminded me of, it'd be interesting if they're flying over and you see the Dringear like trying to get them.
In my mind, I've always got like the flowers from Mario.
Yeah, coming out of the pot. But basically, it seems like they're on the hunt to track down Borskfalia's cronies.
On a bear hunt.
Got my binoculars. Man, I hate that song. Trauma. Is this where the bear hunt happened? I'm blacking out. But They follow one of Borsk's guys into this secret meeting, and then you have this random lady saying, "Turn around slowly." Han's caught unawares, and essentially she's making him put down his comlink and his blaster and everything, and they're holding him
They make
at
her,
gunpoint.
in this illustration, look like a very, like, refined and well put together older woman, you know, maybe a softer in personality version of Meryl Streep from Devil Wears Prada sort of thing going on.
Okay.
But I remember in the book, we almost have like the Arinda Price's mom voice sort of thing going on with Mark.
Arinda.
And it's just, she's kind of described as this, like, you would think she is just maybe going to die this week, sort of, like, kind of blends into the woodwork, you know.
Really? I don't recall her voice. Like, I'll be honest, I think, and maybe this is because I've listened to and read Heir to the Empire the most. Mm-hmm. Like, if there's three
You'll
of them...
start a trilogy and not finish the trilogy?
I will, like, let's say I'm listening to it while I'm falling asleep or something like that. Mm-hmm. I've started and listened to bits of Heir to the Empire way more often than Dark Force Rising or Last Command.
I'll start, like, the first one, but then I was like, all right, well, we're in it till it's finished.
Or, like, Legacy of the Force, Bloodlines is my favorite book. So I'll play that one while I'm falling asleep, and I know that one like the back of my hand. I can tell you, like, the whole opening scene and everything. And then I'll be listening to, say, like, Revelation, which is like way later in the series, and something will happen. I'll be like, oh, because it's, I don't know. Yeah, I know. It's kind of like you've probably seen one of the Lord of the Rings more than the others. You know? Don't you agree?
I watched the first one, and then I watched the other two in succession.
So if you've seen Fellowship of the Ring 28 times, you've seen Two Towers. Yeah. Really?
Correct. The only exception in this I have is Harry Potter. If I just want to watch one of the movies, I'll watch...
Goblet of Fire?
No.
Order of the Phoenix?
No.
Half-Blood Prince?
Yes.
Oh, I knew it.
What a horoscope girl you are.
That's awesome. So, okay, what about Five Foot Goes West?
You know what? You got me.
Gotcha.
You got me.
So,
I was talking to Chance the other day, and he was like, I've been listening to the podcast more. Shout out to you, Chance, because I know you'll hear this. And he was like...
He said the exact same thing to me.
I could not believe 5 minutes later you were still talking about Fievel. I was like, it's been 5 minutes. How can you still be talking about Fievel? And I was like, well... Clearly, Chance, you don't have the depth of understanding that we do about an American Tale franchise.
Yeah, what the heck?
He says his daughters still haven't even watched Mystery of the Night Monster or The Treasure Manhattan Island.
Oh, my God.
Chance, you're failing as a father in this respect.
Everything else you're doing pretty good.
Everything else, A++. But right here, your girls are suffering for ignorance right now.
Yeah. God forbid, knock on wood, something were to happen to you, and you did that thing that everybody talks about where they see their life flash before their eyes, and the angels are like, Chance, you did a fantastic job. I was surprised, however, that you didn't show your children.
And you're just burdened with this overwhelming sense of regret and shame.
Was it your life decisions? No. You did a fantastic job. It was that part of the life where you're supposed to show your children the treasure of Manhattan Island and the mystery of the night monster.
It's not... it's probably going to be a similar experience to when Charlie goes to the afterlife. Charlie the dog from All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Don't you start. We'll be here all night.
You can't keep a good dog down.
Bow, wow, 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 wow.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll try to get back on track, but I hope you enjoyed that rabbit trail, Chance. That was for you. Chancy Pants.
In All Dogs Go to Heaven. Never mind. I'll keep going. So, they're caught dead to rights. We change scenes. We finally catch up with Luke, who I think isn't Luke in kind of the same space? Yes.
Luke is, he's, I think, in some sort of entertainment area as opposed to being on the walkways. I remember the whole thing about the older agent that has captured Han because There's the whole scene where they're on the moving walkways, and I always picture like being in Bush Airport.
Yep, 100%.
So that's where I'm at in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're at one of these restaurants in Bush Intercontinental Airport, and you hear basically a skirmish happening, and there is a Rhodian arguing with a giant lizard man, which this species, if you are reading along with us, but you're not super well versed on Star Wars alien species, especially in Legends or the expanded universe, this is called a Barabel. Are you familiar with the species?
Is that the cheese that comes in the little red wax?
Okay, that's a good one. Okay. No, but a Barabel is basically...
Is it what you pick up and lift at the gym when you're trying to get some nice curls in?
Those are Barabels. The way I picture it is, you know how like Pokemon...
I thought that was the cow from Disney.
What? Are you talking about friggin' what's her name?
Maribel.
No.
That is
Clarabelle.
Clarabelle. Oh, okay. Clarabelle. I was like, I'm on a freaking roll here. Get off my back. That's 3 good ones.
That is 3 good ones. Now you're going to get me thinking about the 3 Musketeers.
I believe you mean the 3 Mouseketeers.
Evening, Lieutenant. Watch out for the bricks. What? Okay, so Barabel, when I think of them, I think of, like, if you see a Pokemon in its 3 major forms, like the smaller form, the evolved form, and then the super form. The Nogri are the beginning form. The Trandoshans are the average form, and then the Barabels are the largest form. Like the Barabels are like larger than Trandoshans and things like that. A couple of cool factoids that I wrote down for these. The Barabels, they have heat vision, much like what snakes and things use in the real world, which is pretty cool. So they see
I thought you meant heat vision, like you stare really intently at something and superheat it. And I was like, that is something I was completely out of the loop on.
No. They see things. Their vision is heat receptive.
Yeah, I would call that thermal vision.
Yeah. Well, the internet calls it heat vision.
The internet's an idiot.
And then their whole society is built on honor. So you'll see this in this next couple of pages. You know, they're having an argument, and then the Barabel knows that Luke is a Jedi, and so therefore he's honorable, so he gets to make the decision, and whatever he says goes for both of us.
And yeah, a little bit of, I think, foreshadowing here as far as the role Luke might take on. I don't know if you recall, and it's a little bit of a spoiler here, but he kind of takes on the role of arbiter, where Joruis is at right now, and kind of sits in judgment of the village or whatever. You know, people come to him with their disputes, like King Solomon. And he's like, oh, well, if you're a Jedi, you got to learn how to, you know, make peace.
Your sheep weren't stolen. They're hidden in a mountain cave, aren't they?
Cut that baby in half. I don't care.
Aren't they?
What if he was just like, man, I really want that baby to shut up? What if we cut it in half and you guys share
I've got a solution. Let's kill the baby. That's crazy.
A real hands-off father. What are you going to do when you have 900 women?
Honey, the baby needs to be changed. Kill it. I'll change it. I'll change it from alive to dead.
I've got 700 pregnant women right now. You think you're special?
I'll kill you, make another one look just like you, and I'm serious. So, but yeah, another really cool thing about the, like I said, their society is built on honor, the Barabels, not unlike the Wookiees, and we'll find out later the Nogri are also that way, which is really cool. And then when they're when they're talking and they're referring to themselves, you or I would say, I want to, I think, I would. The Barabels say this one about themselves. So if you say, I think
this one needs to pee.
Yeah, exactly. I think we should stop.
This one has a little tummy ache.
This one's got a poo-poo that's prairie dogging. This one's got to go. Yeah.
This one had an untrustworthy gas passing. Oopsie doodle, says this one.
This one sharted. The main Barabel that I'm thinking of is Saba 17. She's a Jedi
Of course,
Master.
yes, naturally.
Yeah, you know but yeah, she's on the Jedi High Council, and she's very close to Mara Jade, actually. And there's a moment where...
Like proximity-wise? Like they sit next to each other, or they're good friends?
Yes, they're friends
okay.
as well. But yeah, it's Luke will go to her for counsel, especially in the Fate of the Jedi series, and he'll say,
What's the name of my Kudar Mubat?
What?
Kudar Mubat?
Kudar Mubat? Yeah, what about him?
I was thinking about him.
No. He is fantastic. You remember when we threw that freaking episode together for my birthday and just totally butchered the Bounty Hunter Wars several years ago? But anyways, yeah, he'll be like, I miss Mara, and he'll be like, Saba, which is a female, she'll say, this one does as well, Luke. Anyways, really, really cool. As we are here on this station that we're on, or this planet that we're on, with Luke and Han and Lando, they have an Imperial shakedown. And so as Luke is trying to clean up things between the people in that bar scene, and Lando and Han are kind of dead to rights in Borsk Phalia's secret council meeting, they're trying to come together and figure out what's going on, and the Imperials crack down. So it kind of cuts the mission short. But
It seems like for our intrepid trio, and Chewie is a nice bonus number 4, it feels a lot like when I try to go to the other room, and every time I try to walk somewhere, my dog is loyally directly in front of where my feet go.
We're going in here, Dad?
Yeah, it's like
Dogs do that, dude. They walk in front of you.
They
and
want
then
to
they
follow,
stop.
but then
They're too excited to follow.
But they want to follow from in front.
Yeah.
It's like when my wife and I are going somewhere, and she has no idea where we're going, and she'll just bustle off in a direction. I was like, she'll turn around eventually.
You just stop?
Yep.
Even if that's the way you're going, you just make her pause?
Yep. That's how it feels. Like everywhere they go, the Empire's there for some reason, which is kind of interesting because I'm led to believe that the Empire, like the Imperial Remnant, is not prevalent.
That vast, yeah. Yeah, Luke mentions that earlier. We were kind of guffawing and laughing at him because he was like, we'll win by sheer numbers. And we're like, are you foolish?
Yeah.
You guys just won without the sheer
Yeah.
numbers. But
Also, it's like, how come we're running from the Empire every time if the war's over and we won?
if the war's over and we won and you're a Jedi, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah.
I do appreciate...
I can't think of a single time except for maybe, and I think it's only in the books. I think we've missed it because I'm pretty sure it happens in Heir to the Empire. There's a space skirmish with Han's there and Luke is there and Thrawn's commanding the Imperial forces, and they're like, what the heck was that? Do you remember what I'm talking about? Anyway, so that happens.
Describe what happens. I don't recall.
I feel like I've done the best I can do.
When you say they said, what the heck was that? Who's
They're
referring to
Luke,
what?
Luke and Han and Leia are all very caught off guard with the organization of the Empire.
Yes, I do recall that, actually.
I
remember
think
if
that's the
Heir of
first.
Empire or this book, but yeah.
I'm fairly certain it happens in Heir of the Empire because I think that's the first inkling that they have that there's a Grand Admiral afoot. And I think they just used Talon Card to introduce that idea in the comic series, but.
I seem to recall that as well.
That's the only thing I can think of where it's like they're not. Anytime the Empire shows up, they're like, "Well, time to get the heck out of here."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I agree.
kind of makes me mad.
Changing scenes back to that meeting that Luke and Lando Han and Lando have gotten brought into. It was not lost on me that Borsk Phalia's worker here, the name is Raylia, not to be confused with Phalia, but
Phalia.
he's saying that Han's an imposter and an Imperial spy, and calling for his death.
Yeah, it's freaking crazy.
Which is, where we don't assume it's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But when you're reading it, you're thinking, holy crap, Boris was like, and if that pesky Han Solo comes around, just kill him. Like, it's pretty interesting the lengths to which the Bothans are willing to go to make sure they come out on top of this whole
Also,
political mumbo-jumbo.
Can you get in the headspace where you're trying to gaslight probably the most informed person in whatever area you're in and be like, he's a faker, he's lying.
Yeah.
It's not the real Han Solo. Real Han Solo's boots are slightly darker black.
Yeah, it's like, he was like, what proof do you have? And Han's like, it's me. Like, what else do you want, dude?
Yeah.
Like, you're here. It's funny, too, because the Bothans think that they're the smartest person in the room every time. You're in a secret council, right? And to your point, we've done a good job of not like looking up spoilers as we're rereading this together. And we were saying, isn't this Talon Cards people? And we're kind of in agreement that I think that's the case. But so you have these people who Talon obviously trusts, so they're sharp, right? Every time a Bothan's in a room, he just assumes everyone in there is a buffoon. So he's like, let's just kill him. And they're like, how about we don't? And he's like, I think we should just kill him. And it's funny how you have Han, who knows more about Han than everybody else does.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, so who's the guy over there? And he's like, fake black guy. That's not real Lando Calrissian. Like it's how many people like clones of Han and Lando and Luke? It's freaking ridiculous.
The best part is that they're like, so there's a guy and he has a lightsaber and he's blonde and he has really handsome eyes and real big eye ears like this.
Fluffy white tail like this.
And they're like, okay, well, obviously this is Han if Luke is also here. And they're like, please ask him to come make sure that he knows that it's a request and not an order. Please, for the love of God, make sure that we know that he knows that we're inviting
Let's
him.
make sure that we're on Luke Skywalker's good side, which totally makes sense.
Wouldn't you want to be making clear that the guy who killed Darth Vader and the Emperor knows that you're like, if you'd like to come up here, we sure would appreciate it.
Yeah, it's interesting because
there's got to be some like level of fear. You know what I mean?
And the other thing is, I've seen this concept kind of floating around the internet here lately, but imagine the stories that were coming out of the people who, the very, very few that survived the Death Star, the people who are running to the ships to get off before it blows, whatever. And there was a guy that turned himself in who gets taken from the Force Move of Endor up to Death Star 2, and he's escorted by a whole group of royal guards and Vader to meet the Emperor, who at this point it's common knowledge that he's some kind of crazy Sith Lord.
Yeah.
All powerful. Everybody there, they're working, and Moff Jerjerrod, I think says, we're going to redouble our efforts to finish. The Emperor's coming here.
Yeah.
And then Vader's introduction of the Emperor, or reminder of the Emperor to everybody working, is like, the Emperor is not as forgiving as I am. And I'm like, less forgiving than you. So that guy volunteers himself to go.
That's like when there's somebody around that's just like a freaking energy vampire and just a happiness suck.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, that guy's a real Debbie Downer. And you're like, holy Moses, is he just freaking waking up already crying every day, falls asleep?
You look down the street and it's the guy's walking next to the person's a tornado or something. But you have these stories of Luke that had
Is that guy getting saddled by Pecos Bill right now? What's going on?
But yeah, the concept of Luke's like aura, as it were.
Yeah.
You got a guy that gave himself up, goes up in the elevator with the Royal Guard and Vader. Everything's gone to hell. The Emperor's been killed. The Royal Guards are nowhere to be found, and he's dragging Darth Vader by his helmet to this ship and then takes his helmet off. The people who are running around are like, oh my God. And so they're like, hey, there's a guy that matches Luke Skywalker's build. And they're like, make sure he knows, not a big deal. It's a request.
Tell him that Han's here, the real one.
His friend. We're friends of Han as well, actually.
Sorry about the apologies, Captain Solo.
But the Imperials are there on the base, and they have put a restraining bolt on R2, and they've done all this other stuff to try to keep everybody there.
Man,
obviously,
people just carrying around restraining bolts like pocket change.
I thought the same thing. I thought, what is this? Is this the same thing as an Apple AirTag? Like you just got 5 of them in your backpack just for funsies?
Yeah. There's just like a Radio Shack on every corner.
Yeah, exactly.
Carrying restraining bolts. That's all they're selling is restraining bolts.
Hey, guys.
Number one seller. Only seller.
All we have is restraining bolts again. But they
Not to worry, we'll hit it the same droid as last time. More restraining bolts. There's still the dent there from the last 4.
We use the...
Dude, he's got to hate restraining bolts. He's restrained all the time.
Yeah, what if I want to hear what his words are like right before it goes on, like Wah! But we use the beckon call to bring in the Lady Luck, which causes a big enough distraction to let Luke get out, and then they jump on really, really quickly and they make their way out. So the main chick that found Han and Lando is on the Lady Luck with Han and Lando.
They're the escaping. Old bag.
And Luke is as well. And as they're getting out, there's an Imperial Star Destroyer in orbit. They're wondering, how they're going to escape that. And then we see 3 Dreadnought class ships.
Do we know what happened to the Bothan in all the topsy
No,
turvy?
he's still there.
Is he with them right now, or is he just in the...
No, he's in the
Okay.
building. And that's the thing is, I wonder if...
Forrest Cabalia is in the building.
yeah, exactly. It makes you
Not to
wonder...
be mistaken with his cousin.
Borskvalia. 2 different people. I don't know how you would get them mixed up. Horseface.
Oh.
Yeah, so what?
What's with the long face?
It makes me wonder if, and again, we're not sure, maybe it'll uncover more as we're reading, but is the Bothan the one that calls in the shakedown because they find out that Lando and them are there?
I don't.
Or is it just happenstance?
Well, they said it happens every 5 months or so to collect their, I guess, their portions of whatever
Their
money
coins?
the casino or whatever is pulling in.
Yeah.
What
Everybody
is
splits.
This is just a random thought. I just need you to satisfy it.
Uh-huh.
What am I remembering? There's like a casino yacht that Han and Lando are on at some point,
Yeah.
and it gets attacked by the Imperials. What is that in?
That's Booster Tarek's Star Destroyer. It may be in this series.
Okay, I just can't remember.
It's a I think it's a solid red Star Destroyer.
C'est possible.
Aaron Venture. That's the name of the ship. It's a red Star Destroyer that turned into a giant casino.
Dude, that's like freaking bigger than Las Vegas. That's what's crazy.
Freaking massive. Let's see. Is Booster Tarek in the Thrawn trilogy? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Yes, Booster Tarek in this. He appears.
Shadow of the Sith is where it appears.
Whoa.
Oh, that's cannons.
Yeah, that's canon.
Guys,
Shadow of the
cannons.
Sith is by Adam Christopher.
Cannons, people.
Now, Adam Christopher is the guy that wrote the new Master of Evil book. I'm like 5 chapters and it's really good so far. There's been a ton of like little name drops and things like that in
Yes.
the new Shadows, not Shadow of the Sith, but Master of Evil. But Adam Christopher also wrote Shadow of the Sith, and that's a Luke and Lando novel.
Oh,
which
dang,
pretty
this is in a lot of things in Legends.
but he's in Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and The Last Command. Who is his daughter? He has a famous daughter. Is he Winter's dad? No, Mirax Tarek. Mirax is Corran Horn's wife. He's the iJedi guy. Okay, so we're getting way off track, but they split up. Han and Lando are aboard the Lady Luck, and they're getting sucked up into the belly of the beast of one of these dreadnoughts. And every storyline in this issue is a complete cliffhanger. Nothing gets resolved. We don't find out anything about anything. So, like, the Lady Luck's getting sucked up into the belly of this dreadnought, and she's talking about my commander said this and this and this. I wonder if the commander's Mara Jade. Like, I know that Talon Card's the head honcho, but the
I
commander
would
is
like
probably
to
Mara
say
Jade.
that. However, the agent says our commander instructed us to give you any assistance that you need, and I just do not see Mara Jade being like, help Luke as much as you possibly can, please.
Yeah, maybe so.
And also let him escape by himself, because I definitely never want to get my dirty claws into him ever again.
Yeah. I wonder, though, if, like, she's...
Down, Mara.
She's still a good number 2. Like, she still does what Card's
Yeah.
going to say.
However, it might be like our boy Kabarach, who is like, I didn't avoid landing there, sir. I was never told to.
Yeah, that's true. So as
I will
Han and
operate
Lando
within
are-
the boundaries of my instructions as I interpret them.
as taken up, and Luke is headed to Jomark to meet a Jedi Master. Obviously, we know he's going to see George Sabaoth.
Yeah, very Empire Strikes Back kind of moment. Flees the Empire from a planet and says,
towards Dagobah.
I'm not going to go where everybody else is going like I said I would. I'm going to go to a random planet and not tell anybody about it and meet a Jedi Master there that I don't really know anything about. Classic Luke behavior.
And then we move over, and we are on the Falcon with Leia. And actually, first kind of green flag, if you will, that we can trust the Nogri is they ask, I came alone. Are you alone as I requested you to? And she says it's just being a protocol droid, which is kind of funny because now they've really tried to humanize all the droids. And back in the 90s, they're like, just this light switch. Like, there's no humanization whatsoever. And then she says, also...
just a protocol droid.
My companion Chewbacca
I'm
will stay
practically
here.
alone.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what's really cool is
Just
that
me and my iPhone.
the Nogri says, my companion doesn't like the idea of me going alone. Is he under a life debt to you? And she says, yes. And he says, the Wookiee code of honor is similar to our own. He may come with you. So it's very, very cool. And like I said, green flag that lets you know, like, as a people, as a society, maybe the Nogri are much different and there's much more to them than what's on the surface. What are you thinking?
I just can't get over that panel where Leia's like, can he come? And he's like, well, does he owe you anything? They're like, yeah, well, he can come. He's like us. And then Chewbacca takes real exception to that.
Yeah.
And she's like, what do you want him to not let you come?
Yeah. And the funny, if you look, he's almost like cross-eyed.
He looks so aggravated.
He's almost like, yeah, right.
This freaking guy.
Now...
He's like, of course he would say that.
Yeah, now check this out. This is really fantastic. It says, the trip to my world will take 4 days. I await the honor of your presence aboard my ship. So they leave the Falcon floating there above Endor. They get on Kabarak's ship, and it's a 4-day journey to Honaker, which is the Nogri home planet. And that ship actually looks a lot like the Onyx Cinder from Skeleton Crew. Did you like Skeleton Crew?
I never watched Skeleton Crew. That's when I started, like, picking and choosing what I would actually do instead of devouring all content available to me.
Oh my gosh. It's so cool.
Okay.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
All right, well,
I believe you.
your loss.
Probably.
But they get to Honaker, and the place has been completely ransacked. And there's...
I like how she has the same reaction to it, seeing it in this panel over here.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it has big Krennic energy on, what's the planet?
Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Whenever
it's
it blows up
beautiful.
Jeddah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting that she says it's incredible, and then she gets inside atmosphere, and she's like, what an interesting smell you've discovered.
I feel like she means incredible in the way, like, what the heck?
Yeah.
You know?
Very different. And imagine, like, they're going at light speed, so what the heck is 4 days away by light speed?
Something
A
that's...
jillion years.
Well, it's faster than light speed. It's hyperspace.
Yeah.
If they're going light speed, they would never get anywhere.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it says, no wonder the Emperor was able to turn them against us. We must find a way to help them. And I can't believe Kabarak would do this. They think that he's lured them into a trap when Thrawn was headed there of his own accord. Because remember, earlier in this issue, he decides to go and talk to the Nogri himself and kind of try to revamp that relationship.
So we got to let them know who's in charge.
Yeah. And it's interesting. It's not a nurturing, loving relationship.
It is not.
It's
at
like
all.
they're slacking and they're really pissing me off.
Yeah, it's a very...
It's a very, abusive relationship.
Yeah, I would say so. It's very...
What is that?
What's his name? I'm so
Boss
tired.
Nass?
Yeah, it's a very Boss Nass, Jar Jar Binks kind of relationship.
Yeah.
Like they've screwed the
To be
pooch
punish.
one too many times.
And
Punishment time.
basically, Kabrak's trying to explain.
You were exiled because you were clumsy.
You're clumsy.
You mightn't be saying that.
You realize that obviously Kabrak has not brought the Imperials there, but Chewie doesn't give him the chance to explain himself. So Kabrak shocks the ever-loving crap out of Chewbacca.
Yeah,
and like you said, he's not going to wake up very happy about
You
it.
see the John Candy, Steve Martin skeleton electrical.
You remember when they were going in Train Space Automobiles, they're going through that...
Yeah, when I said John Candy, Steve Martin skeleton thing, that's what I was referencing.
Well, I was going to say whatever he turns to him and he's got the devil horns. And he's like...
Another good reference for that is
Marv.
Marv, yeah.
Yeah. And then you turn...
Marv in
Thrawn-
Home Alone, for those of you who aren't on a first-name basis, with the
course.
wet/sticky
I
bandits.
feel like the 5 people that watched this show knew who Marv was right off the bat.
Well, just in case. I want to be more inclusive for a possible 6th listener.
And then, okay, Thrawn is on Honaker. Why don't you take us through the home stretch here of what's going on here?
Thrawn?
Yeah.
I believe you said Han's on Honaker.
No, I said Thrawn's on Honaker.
Perhaps.
Here you
All right, we got Thrawn. He's meeting with Captain Pelion. They get the news that there's a ship that did not land in the main city and was a little bit hesitant,
sluggish,
a little bit hesitant to answer the hail, which I, on Thrawn's behalf, feel like it's when my dog's in the backyard. And I said, all right, come inside. And he like kind of takes a loping little pace and he'll go the long way around instead of making a beeline. I was like, oh, okay, well, you little so-and-so. You get over here when I say, not when you want to.
Now.
Yeah. So it always is like, all right, well, now we got to question this guy's loyalty. What's he trying to hide? And Thrawn, after hearing the Nogri's name, is aware that he was on one of the Nogri teams sent to capture Leia Organa Solo on Kashyyyk. So he's like, what's he trying to hide? Why is he working so hard to avoid us?
Go right here real quick. And I think he says what team he's on.
He said 22.
22, is that right? Yeah.
And so Leia's aware that somebody's aware that something's going on. Kabarak has been, I think, kind of like censured. They reach out to his the matriarch, or the matriarch, is that what they call her? The matriarch, essentially, of their little village, and they have to hide her, and she's, I think, a little bit more tech savvy, and she's like, we gotta find the Heator so I can't get found out.
Yeah.
And so they hide her in the bread room,
basically the bakery,
the bakehouse, which has a different meaning here on Earth.
Snoop Dogg's like, what you doing in here? It's interesting, too, that if you read whenever Leia introduces herself, she's like, I'm the Malariush, and she's like, says
sniff.
who? And she holds up her hand, and she gets the old sniff, sniff.
Yep.
And she says, okay, that is you. But...
Distinction noted.
Yeah, whenever she first talks to Kabarak and he smells her, he's very, very much like, oh, you're the Malariush, and he's very in awe.
Very deferent. And the matriarch says, I greet you, Lady Vader, but I do not welcome you.
Yes. She seems much more perturbed that Leia's there, and she says something here. She says, you bring
discord
division.
And poison among us.
Yes.
So she obviously recognizes that Leia represents a great amount of trouble for them by her mere presence, especially if it overlaps with Thrawn, which, in this unfortunate instance, the dog is in my way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's interesting
Just
because...
another intersection of...
Yeah, you've what we find out a little bit later, obviously, the name Vader, and we won't get into too spoilery, stuff here, but the word name... The relationship with Vader holds a lot of weight to the Nogri people, but I'm sure there's, after you've been serving somebody for so long, it's almost like, when the Israelites were in the desert and they'd be like, I'd rather just be slaving away in Egypt and know where my next meal's coming from. And I think there's some of that with the Nogri as well. Like, we're already serving Thrawn, that is what it is. And I think some people are like, well, if we have a chance to serve Lady Vader, the heir to the Empire, as it were, that is what we should be striving for.
Yeah, and so on the final page is my favorite bit of dialogue from this particular issue. Thrawn says, you may rise, are you Kabarak? And he says, I am, my lord. And he says, you are a member of Imperial Nogri Command Team 22. Tell me what happened on Kashyyyk. He says, I filed a report, my lord. I always love the kind of like distancing himself from anything that Thrawn's asking him. Thrawn says, I read it. How do you survive while all your teammates were killed? Why didn't you return to Honoghr after your failure? I left to be alone. I needed time to think and to meditate, which has the same energy of me. Like if I get home from a long day, I'll just sit in the car for like 7 minutes.
Yeah. Gather your thoughts.
He said, you were slow to respond when the request for a recognition signal came from the surface, and you refused to land at Nystau. He said, I did not refuse, my lord. I was never ordered to land there. Distinction noted. What is it? What is it being directed at an Imperial, presumably Pelion, because he's usually the one relaying information. We've located the malfunction. The malfunction that they're referring to is not disclosed. A power surge, it could have been natural or artificial. And Thrawn says, I see. And that is the end of our issue.
There's a lot of
tension
stuff that's up in the air here. A lot of tension. We don't know who these random ladies' boss is. Obviously, we we highly suspect it's Mara Jade / Talon Card.
It's pretty heavily implied that it's Talon Card because the last time we actually see him, he's talking about this dreadnought fleet that only he knows about.
Yeah, the Dark Force.
What do we have here? 3 dreadnoughts? Where did those come from?
And then, going into what's next, a week between episodes, if this was something that was being released every week and we didn't have years in the future of knowing everybody was safe and sound and Luke, Han, and Leia would all survive, there's huge danger here for Leia having the Grand Admiral here who is very much in control of everything. There's every part of this...
She's going with Treebeard to Isengard, you know what I mean?
Yes. Every part of this this issue that we just wrapped up, Thrawn's got his hands in it, and he's in control of it. And he's 2-3 steps ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's very stressful. It's very interesting, and I think that the Leia relationship with the Nogri is one of my favorite parts of
it's
books
definitely
2
a
and 3.
fun development that comes up, and I think it shows some interesting dynamics as far as what Vader might have been like in his time alive, because we don't really have very much insight into Vader the man at this point in Star Wars history. We just we really just have the films. I don't feel like there were really any major books that explored Vader's person up until this point.
Well, if you think about it too, like the prequels really flesh out the person of who Anakin is, and we've had several books and comics and things like that since then.
Yeah.
The book that I was telling you about, Master of Evil, there's these tones, and I'm only like 3 or 4 chapters in, but there's these tones where it's like Vader is so hopeful still, and like hopeful like in the worst way. Like he's full of despair, but maybe somewhere in the galaxy there's a chance to still save Padme, even though he's in the suit now. Yeah. But at this point, we're talking about like 1992. All we ever saw was the armor, and then at the very last minute in Return of the Jedi, we see the face. Yeah. And there's no backstory, and we don't know what his relationship to the Nogri people is and things of that nature. So it's very interesting. Obviously, his name holds a significant amount of weight because they're willing to put their whole society at risk and lie to Thrawn. Yeah. Which is not in their normal nature to do so. So
it's not necessarily to their benefit either, you know what I mean?
Like, and I think that's why the matriarch of that little tribe was saying, I greet you, but I do not welcome you. Yeah. Like, I know who you are, and I recognize...
Time to go now.
Yeah, hurry up. Yeah. Hurry up. But very, very interesting stuff. This has been one of the most action... Maybe not action-packed, but one of the most...
Everything that's happening is pretty important.
Yes.
Non-filler. This is not D-Squad.
Yeah. This is probably one of the most...
For that potential 6th viewer, I'm referencing the story arc D-Squad in the Clone Wars series, which is... George Lucas's favorite, and I hate it. Yeah. Hate it.
This one has the most implications, I think, is the term I was looking for, of what happens to the future.
Yeah. And so it definitely galaxy-wide sets the tone for the rest of what goes on.
Yep. So that's part 2. So next week we'll be halfway through already of not just Dark Force Rising, but the whole series. And so we are just plugging away at this. This one was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed this particular issue, and next week we'll just catch right back up. This will come out the day after Thanksgiving, so hopefully you guys have had a great week and a great time with your family and your friends and loved ones over the Thanksgiving holiday. And remember to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. Like and subscribe, share it to all your friends and family. And if you're driving to or from family for Thanksgiving, maybe you can catch up with us and let us know how your reading of the Heir to the Empire trilogy is going. And remember, the Force will be with you always.
And also remember, especially on this most auspicious of family gathering weeks, the only family you have here is me. Oops, wrong one.
Whoa!
Oh, gotcha. I got me too. Me.
We'll see you next week.